Michael Gove, does inequality matter?
Yes.
That was quick. Lots of Conservatives would say it doesn't. As long as you tackle absolute poverty, that you give people the opportunity for work, that you ensure that they have subsistence income, it doesn't matter how much the rich earn.
Well, they're wrong. The first thing is to understand that, or I believe that, in Victorian times, a distinction was drawn by some between deserving and undeserving poor, those who were willing to work and those who were shiftless. I think that it's worth drawing a dividing line between the deserving and the undeserving rich. I think that there are people who genuinely work hard, who are creative, who add value to our society. I think that there are people who play the markets, who sit on each other's remuneration committees, and who rig the rules of the free market in their favour, not in favour of the majority of people in this country or in the world. And unless we challenge them with the same vigour that Teddy Roosevelt did at the turn of the century in America, then we risk losing the creativity of the free market economy, because there are individuals who have rigged the rules to their own advantage. There are occasions much more glitzy than this, if you can imagine such a thing. Like the World Economic Forum at Davos, where the world's uber-rich go to preach to us about our failures, both as politicians and as individuals. But so many of them are people who have had every advantage throughout their lives, and who now have power out of the reach of accountability. And they, in many cases, will preach about the vital importance of competitive markets and freeing up labour markets. And yet they themselves live in a bubble where they find that if they do fail, then they're rewarded handsomely, as so many people, not least in financial services, have been for their failure. So it's critical, first of all, that we recognise that there are some people who have power and wealth who don't deserve it and who need to be challenged. The other thing is, it is not a healthy or a humane society where the gap between rich and poor grows so much. A metaphor that was used by my colleague Greg Clark, but first of all coined by my friend Polly Toynbee, is accurate. And that is that society is like a camel train travelling through the desert. I don't want rigid Stalinist North Korean equality. That would be wrong, inhumane, and would require a coercive power on behalf of the state that would be out of kilter with any decent and humane liberal set of values. But I do believe that when those at the top move far too far away from those at the bottom, that is an unhealthy situation. And organisations from the Royal Navy to the John Lewis Partnership that insist that there's a relationship between those who are paid the least and those who are paid the most in their organisation are healthier organisations for it. And I absolutely believe that if you turn your conception of what a good society is into an atomised meritocratic race in which you simply allow people to roll the dice and to take whatever advantages accrue as a result of that, then what you do is you undermine the bonds that make us human and that raise us above the level of the Darwinian competition that exists in nature. We are better than that. We have souls for a reason. We should be our brother's keepers. We should think that our society is better when our society is more equal, more just and more fair.